The next art technique we are going to be going over is patterns. So we make our artworks out of patterns using repeating lines and shapes. So to make a pattern, we first make our mark that extends to a line, and then we repeat to make a pattern, or we add a bunch of color to a section to create value. We can create many different types of patterns using our lines. So the exercise that I'm going to take you through today is called creating a Zentangle. To begin your Zentangle, practice drawing and using your straight lines like we practiced last time to draw a rectangle. See if you can connect all 4 straight lines to make a rectangle. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be. We are just practicing. Make a straight lined rectangle to create your Zentangle. Now maybe you've heard of Zentangles before, or maybe you haven't. Either way, you are welcome to grab a piece of paper and follow along and try and create your Zentangle, or you can just sit back, relax, and watch me complete it. Either way, I hope that you get inspired to practice using some of these patterns as you begin your composition project. To begin your Zentangle, I'm just going to start by creating a spiral at the center. Now, coming out of this spiral, I am going to extend some straight lines all the way out as they connect to the edge of the rectangle. And inside of this Zentangle, I'm going to fill up each different section with a different pattern using lines. So for section number 1, this pattern is going to be arcs, or hills, or rainbows, whatever you want to call this repeating line. I'm trying to aim for the same amount of thickness in between each line, just a good way to practice staying in control as you work your pattern, filling up that first section. Moving on to the second section, we've got some curved rainbow lines for the first, so now I'm just going to repeat using some straight lines. I kind of started at the center, but you can start at the beginning or the end or the center. I guess it doesn't really matter. There are some straight lines. Moving to the next section, zigzag lines. I can draw these in a pattern. Moving on, you can do straight lines but not have a pattern with the thickness. Here are some that are close together. Here are some that are farther away. And some that don't really have a pattern that repeats. Moving on to the next quadrant, and I'm actually going to split this one in 2. So for this one, I'm going to draw repeating circles, big and small. So when we draw a circular line, it's really hard to draw a perfect circle. So we can practice by making a counterclockwise or clockwise rotation with our wrist, getting ourselves familiar with that movement, and trying to draw a perfect circle. We can do big ones, we can do small ones. These can be bubbles, these could be heads, these could be different designs. Just practicing drawing that circular motion to fill up this section of our Zentangle. Very good. Gonna divide this one more time, making just a few more options. The next way that I'm going to fill this up is going to be called a stippling method. So I am using a pen to create this exercise today because it is inky and it will make a nice ink mark on the page. You could try this with a pencil, you could try this with a crayon. It'll work best with markers or gel pens. So to make a stippling method, I'm just really making little dots. I'm stippling the ink onto the paper. So I can make really, really close together dots, and this creates a very sort of controlled dark hue that has a darker tint to it, so we can have our dots getting closer together, so there's less and less space. They're very compact, and then as it gets farther away, we can extend them out. So more dense as they go in and more expanded as they go out. So you can sort of control light and value that way if you want to do a stippling method and you're somebody that's really patient and likes to have precise marks when you're creating. You can try out the stippling method. Last section here, we are going to do little spirals. So you can create big and small spirals to fill up your sections. And I'm just making up these patterns as I go. You can come up with your own patterns for your Zentangle. Just see if you can challenge yourself to make a straight lined rectangle, circle or spiral at the center, extend some straight lines to make a web or to make different sections, and create a different pattern in each section. Just see what you can do when you allow yourself to have fun, let your brain relax, and see what you can do when you put your pen to your paper. Alrighty, happy creating. Thank you for watching.